When you think of retirement, it could evoke feelings of freedom and the ability to move and go and do as you please. But do you know there are so many people who feel lost in retirement? We're going to unpack that today. And I want to share with you how I went through a process of discovering my new passion, my new identity, because you can get to that stage. So stick with me and we're going to go through the process. If you don't know who I am, my name is Maggie Lazar. I am a retired nurse practitioner, and I have been here in Panama since January 2023. And I am coming up on my third anniversary. So excited. You know, in a way, retirement, the process of going through, especially the transition, early retirement, reminds me of the process of grieving that we talk about sometimes. You know, the Kubler-Ross, the steps of anger, denial, you know, bargaining, depression, all the way to acceptance, right? But not so much in that sequence, but we go through a process of discovery. And a lot of us who are blessed to have reached a discovery phase, like yours truly, it's a process. And I always believe that if you are in tune with your emotions, with yourself, and if you expect to go through certain things, emotions, then you're in a better position to reach that discovery phase. So I'm going to go through 4 phases with you. I was watching a TED Talk the other day, and a gentleman, very kind gentleman, mentioned 4 phases of retirement. I've kind of modified them a little bit, but the first two that he mentioned are vacation and then a feeling of loss, feeling lost, right? And then the third phase is kind of at the bargaining phase, the trial and error, the trying to see what can I do, what could I do? And then the fourth phase being the discovery phase. Ta-da! I have found myself. I am in a new place. I am a new person. I have found my new purpose. Are you excited? I am. I am excited to go through that process with you. So, if you want to hear more about my content, on Mondays, I do the Educate series where I address topics that are of interest to people who just get here. It's like the who, what, where, who, what, where. Why of being an expat here in Panama or anywhere else. You know, I think the process is the same. And of course, you would have done all that work previously to get yourself to the point where you move abroad. But this one is more about retirement itself. So on Thursdays, I just address topics that are of interest to people in my age group, you know, single older women, even though the topic today can be applicable to anyone who is going through retirement. Okay? So if you want to hear more, please hit the like button, the thumbs up, and subscribe to the channel. I'm not going to beg you because if you like me or my content, you would be a subscriber. You can't just keep taking all this information for free and you can just hit a subscribe button. It doesn't really cost you anything. We do have channel members that I exercise with on Monday, Wednesday, and Fridays. And on Friday, we create a power breakfast or lunch. It's fun. We talk about life, about growing old, and being vibrant and healthy. All right. When you think of retirement, most of us think of it as the exit, right? We want to stop what we're doing. Oh, by the way, I just finished working out with my ladies and I decided, yeah, let me just do this video so I don't have to worry about it. So I could check off my list, right? I'm a list person. Can you tell? But anyway, so please forgive the sweat marks. That's life, okay? I am working out to stay healthy. So you prepare for retirement mentally in your head. You're like, I can't wait to escape. And I talked about it before with that word picture. So you plan for it, right? You say, oh, when I retire, I'm going to visit this places, that place, these places. I'm going to learn a new skill. I'm going to visit all the grandkids. We have people who have mapped it out that they go to all the children, go all around the country and abroad. There's a woman, vibrant woman who retired here in Panama. I don't even know if she lives here because every time I look around, she's on social media. Oh, I'm going off again. You know, the plane picture shows up. She's flying here, there. We plan for it and we feel we earned it. We've worked hard and this is our time to partay, to enjoy. So this is the first phase, the vacation phase. For me, so what I want to do, as I go through the phases with you, I'm going to give you where I fit in that picture, whether I went through that stage myself, right? Because again, not everybody goes through all the stages. But because my retirement wasn't planned out like everybody else's, I guess, I thought about I'm going to work till maybe I'm 65, even though they keep moving the goalposts. It's like now it's 67 and 8 months. I've been retired 5 years now, but I would have still been waiting on Social Security until next March because it would have been 67 and 8 months. That would have been my full retirement age. And I did take a cut, you know, when you retire early, you are going to take a cut in your Social Security. So I did not plan it that way, and it did not happen that way for me. I told you, you've heard my story. I was in traffic one day. I was working as a nurse practitioner, and I was stuck in that traffic. And then, you know, it was just like, I'm tired of doing this. I hate to be in traffic. And I said, you know, I'm done. So I came home, looked at the numbers, and I said, you know what, I can retire early. And I did. So it was on plan. So my list wasn't with me to say, I'm going to go here, I'm going to go there, right? Because I just up and said, I'm done. So the vacation phase, if you want to call that first phase for the average person who retires, I did not go through that. I'm a traveler, you know, I've gone to places, but it wasn't part of the equation. It wasn't planned. So not everybody goes through this moment where we say, oh, okay, we're going to travel, we're going to do this. As soon as we retire, that is the vacation phase. How about you? Did you go to a vacation phase? Let me know in the comment, okay? The second phase, believe it or not, is that feeling of loss. Didn't you have feelings like that? I know I did. The loss of the routine of getting up, getting dressed, and going to the office. I'm telling you, when I retired, Monday mornings were really hard for me. I was like, you mean I don't have a meeting schedule? I don't have anywhere to go? Oh, that hits you. And then you're like, you know, your sense of worth, your sense of being a contributing member of society. You've worked for 40 plus years. You in meetings, you know, you were leading this and that, and now you're just sitting there trying to figure out what to do with yourself. Yes, this is the sense of loss that most of us, if you are true to yourself, you will say, yes, I felt that. The sense that you don't have anywhere to go, you don't have any meeting schedule, you don't have anybody to direct, you're not creating anything. Ah, and you miss not getting in your car and going to work. For me, I miss not putting on my suit, my lab coat in places. It's like, yeah. So that feeling of loss, if you are not careful and you're not prepared for it, could take you down a dark path, sis, sir. So understand that you're going to be grieving that. I grieve not getting a paycheck. I mean, I'm like any other girl. I love money. I'm not a spender like that, but I like to have the comfort of knowing that I could if I wanted to. I love to travel. I have certain things that I like to eat that might cost a little. Maybe you like to donate. So I miss that. I miss not having a job. Again, I told you before, I thought that I would work part-time, but nothing materialized, even though towards the end, to the next process, the next phase, I did end up teaching for a semester, which I absolutely loved. All right. But I hadn't reached the discovery phase yet. I was in the third phase. So second phase is lost. You just feel lost. You asking yourself, who am I? Your sense of identity. Imagine you were a boss, you were a manager, and you had people who reported to you. And now you don't have an office, you're not sitting behind your desk, nobody's knocking on your door, asking for your advice, asking for you to direct. That can be hard. Who are you now that you're retired? You don't have a title. You don't have a desk. You don't have a department. You don't have an office. Prepare for it. So the third phase, if you are lucky enough to say, okay, I remember when I lost my restaurant, I moaned and groaned and grieved for 2 solid months. I sat at my desk in my kitchen and I ate myself to oblivion, and I had a major pity party. I cried and moaned. And then one day I woke up, I remember it like it was yesterday. I said, okay, Maggie, the pity party is over. Snap out of it. So when you in this second phase of your retirement and you just totally lost, you don't know who you are, and you just kind of, woe is me. What am I gonna do with the rest of my life? I didn't think retirement was gonna be this. Oh, but you don't have to go to work. What are you sad about? You don't have to deal with all the crazy in the office. What's your problem? That person who's a pain in your side, you don't have to see her anymore. So why are you sad? Why are you depressed? What's wrong with you? Because you're human. You're grieving. So now, assuming you do one of those snap out of it kind of thing, Maggie, it's like, wake up, snap out of it. Talk to yourself. Positive talk. Prepare for it and do things to snap out of it. Exercise, get a hobby, go out with your friend, distract yourself. And then the third phase, you say, okay, so I've partied, I've done this. Vacation was overrated. I did that. So now what? Oh, I went to my little pity party and I know there is more ahead. So what's next? Next is when you start taking inventory of who you are and what the possibilities might be. Well, maybe I can volunteer. Check. Well, maybe I can pick up golf. Check. Maybe I can learn to play pickleball. Check. I don't play pickleball. I don't golf. So that didn't work for me. Maybe I can teach. Yay! So I looked that up. Yes. And I started teaching. So what else could you do? Well, maybe I can travel and try to see if I can start another business somewhere. That's how I ended up in Africa. I went on a discovery and I said, okay, let me see if I can do something with what I know. I don't know, I see something showing up on my screen and I'm going to get it off. Okay. So that's not the discovery yet. You are in the research phase, I would say, research evaluation. And then you say, what else is there? What else could I do? Well, maybe I can downsize. Well, maybe I can sell my house and move abroad. Sometimes this is when people would decide to do something different. Maybe I'm going to move to be close to the kids, to the grandkids. Maybe I'm going to join some clubs, walking clubs, sewing clubs, wine clubs. They have travel clubs. They have ladies who travel together. That sounds amazing. So take the time to go through that process, and everything that you assume that you could do, Just kind of pair that with your skill set, the person that you know you are. I know for me, teaching was an easy transition because I love to teach people. So going to the university and being accepted, I was so excited and I absolutely love teaching those kids. So this is the assessment phase. How did that go for me? Yes, I went to Africa. I went to Rwanda, came back to Panama, and then that's when it was like, oh, I still love Panama so much. Maybe I can move here. This is usually where you start thinking about moving abroad. Maybe you're moving not just abroad, maybe making a move, whether you're moving to be with the kids, you're going to California, you're moving south, wherever. So moving abroad became a possibility. And it gives me an opportunity to research, right? The teaching, yes, I could teach. When I realized that my idea of working part-time to continue my job, working part-time doing telehealth, wasn't going to materialize, I had to go to plan B. Because you see, I'm such a planner that I always have multiple things going through my mind at the same time. What else did I realize? Well, you know what? This big house it's here. I don't need that big house. Maybe I can sell the house. And I did, got it ready, put it up for sale. It didn't sell, but that was part of the process, right? What else? Well, I think at that time I did things like I did Amazon. I tried Amazon. I designed a computer bag that didn't go anywhere. What else did I do? I think I lost money somewhere else. But that was all part of the process. I always say, if you lose money that you have researching something, it's not a waste, right? Because the process is going to give you more insight into who you are, and you're going to grow because of going through that process. So don't be attached to money too tightly. Not that you want to be frivolous about spending your money. That is not what I'm saying. So I went through this, the who, what. I can move to Panama. I can sell the house. I can teach. I can try my hand at Amazon. I was trying to do anything that I could, not only to bring some extra income, because remember, I missed that paycheck. I did. Well, I guess I still do. It would be nice because I still see people here who are still, working online, the counselors and psychologists, yes. And the fourth phase that I reached was the discovery phase. Ta-da! I moved to Panama. Oh, and then that kept me busy because you got to get ready, you got to do the decluttering, prepare your family, look at everything that I've taught you with my videos. I went through all of that. And then when I got here in Panama, I was still in the discovery phase. It was like I went back to level 3 because it was like when I came back, oh, volunteering. Remember, in that third phase, I ended up in the Peace Corps in South Africa. That was, can I do this? I could do this. I could do that. Phase 3, the assessment, the research. What can I do that's going to feed my soul with the person that I know I am and the skill sets that I know that I have? But then I took a detour. I came back from South Africa early. I was supposed to be there for 3 years. It's funny because this lady who started with me, she's saying now she's completing her 3 years, and I'm so proud of her. I'm a little sad that I couldn't wait, but I knew that if I wasn't gonna be healthy if I stayed there. But anyway. So when I came back, it was like, oh, Maggie, now you have to go back to, level 3. It's like, now what? That's what happened to me when I came here in January 2024. Well, I returned in November 2023, and I moved in this apartment in December 2023. So now between December through March, I was in level 3. What can I do now? I was no longer on vacation. Panama was home. I wasn't depressed because I knew that I had already grieved the loss. So now it was like level 3, not level 3, stage 3, I guess. It's like, what am I gonna do now? And I spent December I spent getting my house in order here. So January, February, I was like, what am I gonna do? What am I gonna do? So I could do this, I could do that, started watching videos. I knew I was comfortable in front of the camera. That wasn't a problem, but I needed a topic. I needed a point of reference. I needed an audience. I needed, I want to say a thing, but I needed something of essence. And when I started watching the videos, I realized that a lot of older women were saying, "Oh, I'm so proud of you. Oh, I couldn't do that. How'd you do it?" And I not only one Facebook group or YouTube channel, I saw that being repeated over and over again. And a little light bulb went off, ding, ding. I moved here while I was in phase 3, and I was discovering, and Panama made sense because I connected with the country. I could tell people how to do this. And this is what the discovery was. Ta-da! You're a single older woman. Now, I knew people were retiring here in Panama, but we had all kinds of people here, right? So early on, I was blessed enough with something going off in my head that says, why don't you just talk to the women who are in a situation that you were in when you were in phase 3 and now want to do what you did? Just tell him what you did. And I remember clear as day, I took Stephanie Perry's YouTube challenge. I think she calls it, she does it once or twice a year. And I already had the channel, it was called Maggie Lazard, and it was A Nurse in the Kitchen, right? And then she said, when she, because she has phenomenal growth, and she mentioned that she had done like a 24-day challenge where she recorded every day. And I remember her saying, and I don't recommend it. And then I don't know, a light bulb went off in my head. I said, that's what I'm gonna do. So I decided to do one video per day for 30 days, and I did it. I centered my content around the single older woman wanting to move abroad, mostly to Panama, and I can walk them through the process that I went through to get here. And that's how Single Women Retiring Abroad came about. And I think I was saying, I still don't remember how I came up with the name. And someone said I was asking people about what to call the channel, and I was blessed to just zero in on that. So I had arrived to level 4 of what I call the discovery phase. The discovery phase to me is finding your purpose, finding your people, finding your crowd, finding something that encapsulates who you are, your dreams, your hope, and also your desire to serve, and also your innate need to care for people. Oh my God. For me, doing SWRA, and of course, remember, SWRA is something that I wanted to do for myself, to move here, to be in a place where I can grow old safely, affordably. So if I need help, I can hire people to take care of me without throwing me into bankruptcy and not ending up in the healthcare system, the long-term care system in the US, because I have been there and I don't want to be there. I hope God doesn't allow me to be there, because I'm doing everything I can so I don't end up there. But so my need to create something for me morph into bringing others along with me. So that's why now with SWRA, we're like, you need to be on the same page as us. We are not here just to be a social club. We're not here to just go have lunch, dinner. We do that too, but we have a higher purpose. So, what is the discovery like for me? I'm telling you, we have been doing this for about over a year and a half, and I have to say proudly that I have not deviated from that. If anything, I think I'm clarifying the vision more and more every day. That is part of the growth process, that is part of continuing quality, well, not quality, continuing improvement, right? Of clarifying the vision of a group of women. It doesn't have to be thousands, it could become thousands, but we're still in the process of clarifying what does that look like? Are we going to live together? What are the services that are we going to surround ourselves with? And how are we going to support each other in this aging in place thing that we're talking about? So for me, I feel energized every day. I am always thinking ahead. How can I create this sisterhood where we genuinely care for each other? How do I peel off the layers? How do I cut all the little clicks that try to infiltrate? It's like, no, 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 no. This is not what we are about. We are about genuine love and caring. And I do the best I can to model that for the sisters, showing love, empathy, caring for them, making soups, asking a sister, how are you doing? What do you need help with? All right. And of course, we want to be in a position where we are going to give back to our community, and we are working on that as well. Now, could that vision expand? I don't know. It might. I never close my mind to any possibilities. So for me, I mean, the discovery that I am so blessed to find something that feeds my soul. I'm a planner, I'm a creator, so I'm constantly, it's feeding that need for me to do that. Yeah, I still travel. I'm doing healthy stuff. It kind of comes together. The nutrition, the exercise, the aging in place, the being healthy, just trying to stir the sisters into that model, that road, that's where we're heading as a sisterhood. It's a work in progress. And the work keeps me energized, keeps me grounded. So, am I blessed or what? Am I lucky? Well, I don't know. I don't like the word lucky because I put in the work. I did not go through the vacation period, the first phase, because I did not retire like everybody else did. I went through that depression of that loss. It's like, who am I? Oh my goodness, no job, nowhere to go. That can be a little bit difficult. And in the third phase, the research is like, what can I do? What can I do with what I know, with who I am? What can I do? What can I do? I went through that. And this one, I think, was a little bit extended for me, especially with going to the Peace Corps and coming back. Restart, rewind, right? And then to get to the discovery that every day you wake up energized, happy, grateful, thankful. I don't wake up one day saying, what can I do? No, now I have a calendar. I have a Google calendar that I will say, oh, Maggie, let's have coffee. Oh, let me check the calendar. Oh, can we go over here? Oh, let me check the calendar. Somebody said, I thought you were free tired. This sister calls it free tired. Yeah, I'm free tired. But I am one of those people, even when I was working, if I felt overwhelmed, I needed one day off. 2 days off, and I was like, I was getting antsy. That's what I was worried in the beginning. And I'm like, can I really retire? I'm such a workaholic. I am a workaholic still, but I do things that I want to do, things that I enjoy, not because somebody's breathing down my neck that I need that project, I need a deadline. I set my own deadline. And if I don't meet the deadline, I move it up. I move it up. I don't need to stress myself over, oh, I said I was going to do this by this day and I didn't do it. No, let me go on a staycation. Let me do a vacation for now. I'll come back to it. my own time. You're the master of your own time. Oh my gosh. This is such a blessing. What else am I doing that makes me feel energized and that I have found my new passion? Listen, remember to give the video a thumbs up. Remember to subscribe. My water is not, oh, I have my water there, but come on, guys. So I guess VidIQ said I was supposed to hit 20,000 by the end of November, and then the views have just, and then he's like, oh, well, maybe January 2026. Listen, that's another thing. I refuse to put pressure on myself about YouTube. YouTube is a different animal. It keeps on changing and it's got all kind of little twists and turns. And somebody is doing some crazy stuff. I'm not worried about it, okay? I'm just grateful that God has given me an opportunity to talk to you, my audience. People come here and they really touch my heart. They're like, you just don't realize how many people you're touching with your videos. And I get so humbled. And sometimes I'm almost in tears to know that sharing my journey can inspire someone else who was maybe feeling hopeless. And I'm saying, sis, you can do it. You can come here. And when you come, we are here. What is more gratifying than that? Than telling a sister, giving you a hug. With our meetings every month, I make sure I hug everybody because this is what I want to model for them, the sisterhood. So with single women retiring abroad, I'm also focused on healthy aging, eating, working out. I do an exercise three days a week with the members. I talk about health. I do little short things, on Facebook, encouragement. I'm an encourager. I remember when I was in church, they used to say, you have the gift of encouragement. Yes, that's me. I'm the one that's going to say, you can do it, sis. I love you, sis. You can do it. Yes. I don't always get it back, and it's not about getting it back, sis. This is another thing. When you're doing for people, and my mother always said, someone else can always do it better than you. So don't get yourself thinking you're all that. And never do something for someone expecting the same in return. You just do it and throw it out in the universe, and it will come back to you in ways you never imagined. So I never do anything for anybody expecting the same in return, right? But what else have I discovered? Do you know that with the baby boomers, of which I am one, I always forget the years that you were born, somewhere in the 50s to the 60s. With the baby boomers, we are retiring at a fast rate. I think they said about 10,000 every single day. That's a lot of people. And of course, we're challenged with healthcare. You retire in your 60s and you live to be past 90, that's another 30 plus years you have to live. That's why it's important for you to craft another life for yourself. And that life may be totally different from what you've done in the past. I'm not doing anything nursing related. Nope. I'm not teaching nurses. Not now. But all the skills I have accumulated over time being a nurse, which the intrinsic qualities of caring for people, of being kind and patient and understanding and smart to discover if somebody's crashed, I'm using all that now. Even when I remember when I had my restaurant, I used to say, "What? I'm a nurse. I feel like I'm still healing people to my food." And now with whole food plant-based, we had decided I'm going to go back to all that because my tummy doesn't do well with meat anymore. So I'm whole food plant-based again, 100%. No, I'm going to have fish once a week. But I'm incorporating all that in this stage, in the discovery phase, so I can continue to inspire others and the sisters. And I keep telling them, don't wait till you get a diagnosis to change your lifestyle, change it now. So now I find that I have other gifts that I can use. Gift of writing, cooking, is a passion for me. I want to do something with it. And I'm going to start with doing a book of my recipes, right? I find that I can do digital products. Yes. I have dreams for SWRA that could become a business, right? But right now we're in the discovery phase. We've only been in existence a year and a half. So the ability to dream doesn't stop when you retire. Oh, I like that. The ability to dream does not end when you turn in the keys and you close that office door. It's a stepping stone to a new lifestyle, new project, new dreams, new possibilities. The sky is the limit. Do not limit yourself saying, oh, I guess I'm going to help my kids and watch the kids, and I'm going to go from one child's home to the other. You can do that. But is that all you're going to be doing in retirement? You're going to become stale, sis. I don't know about you. I need more. And I knew that about myself. And that's why in that research phase, I was like, I need something of substance. I need something that I can grow with. I need something that I can create that can grow beyond itself. And that's what SWRA is. You know, when you think of a bunch of women, single, in a group who are retired, can you think of the possibilities around that model? I can. I can. And sometimes I have that notebook next to my bed. I jump up and I'm writing it down. I'm always writing things down. New topics that I want to talk about, new things I want to discover, new things I need to research. So, sis, I wanted to take you through the process that it took me after retirement to get to this discovery phase where I am vibrant, energized, happy, excited. Yes, we have all the bad news, all the distractions going around. I can't do anything about those. I am focused. And if I die in the process, I would have died doing something that I love, which is constantly discovering, constantly looking at possibilities, constantly growing, searching, creating. To me, that is life. That is a blessed life. And of course, I don't think I mentioned that in that loss phase, the second phase, you know, you're living differently. We don't need the 4,500 square foot home. We don't need to drive the Mercedes and what's the other one? They used to have these beautiful SUVs. I don't drive. I'm living in a two-bedroom apartment and I'm probably gonna down to one. Simple, simplicity. When you embrace that, you're no longer grieving. I want to declutter again because I don't need all the stuff that I already have here in Panama. I want to live even more simply. So embrace all that. And when you divest yourself of all the stuff, you feel lighter. You feel more open to the universe, to the possibilities. I see myself on a cooking show. I don't know how it's going to happen, but I see myself on that. This is the vision that you have. What is retirement again? What did you think retirement was going to be for you? I did not understand any of it. I did not see myself where I am now. But that is the power of vision, the power of being open, the power of dreaming. Are you dreaming, sis? What is your vision for yourself? What is your vision in retirement? What is your idea of retirement? I hope it's not just sitting at in your chair, sipping margaritas and not doing anything. Your brain's gonna die, sis. Because, I shared with you that the research shows that if you keep planning, it keeps your mind going and you have a lower chance of dementia, cognitive decline. That's a nice fancy word of saying dementia. You lose your brain if you don't use it. All right, I think I spoke long enough. I hope you understood where I was and where I am now, how excited and blessed that I am. And I'm going to keep moving forward. Keep moving forward. Listen, you never know what's going to come out of this because sometimes God brings opportunities. I'm like, oh, never thought of that. He's done that a lot to me because I'm a planner. I'm always kind of strategizing. And then he's like, nah, we're going this way. It's like, oh, okay, okay. Be ready. Always be in a position to shift. I've said that before. All right, I'm going to stop right here. Please like the video, give it a thumbs up. Share it with your friends. Anybody who needs some inspiration, please spread the word, and subscribe to the channel. I know. I don't know why I keep asking it because if you like what I'm saying, you would have subscribed. If you don't subscribe, that means you don't like me and you don't like my content. And it's okay, sis. It's okay. The world is a big place. All right, I'm gonna stop because I can go for a long time. God loves you. I love you. Au revoir, à la prochaine. Bye.